Hi, and welcome to the third episode of the BIGWU RBL Branch Education Committee series, entitled, Did You Know? Today we are going to talk about a COVID-19 response alert. This is a notice to all RBL workers. This is the union's clear and simple advice to protecting you, our members, during this resurgence and potential exponential spread of COVID-19 at the workplace. The Occupational Safety and Health Act, in sections 15, 16 and 17 gives you the right to refuse to work where the workplace is not safe. Nobody but you can determine what is safe for you. You have the first responsibility to protect your own life. Do not expect or trust the bank to protect you. Instead, observe how the management protects and focus on profits and targets. We understand all too well that intimidation, victimization, financial inducements, promises of promotions and favors are all factors at play, and the bank knows by now what works to keep you in line, but that final choice is still yours. Not even the union can enter your workplace and do what you must do for yourself. The union, however, can educate, empower and advise, but it is the staff who must take the first step. Prosecute the bank when such action is necessary, but legal action that takes months will not save your life when immediate action is necessary. The law therefore supports and protects all workers when refusing to work in an environment where there is a threat to life. COVID-19 kills and is therefore a threat to your life. How the law works in 3 easy steps. Step 1. Inform your shop steward and/or union official of the threat, if there is time. Step 2. Inform your supervisor or manager that you are willing to work but not under these present conditions. State what issue exists, and that you will be awaiting their removal or correction of the threat in some safe area nearby. Step 3. Get to that area as quickly as you can and inform your shop steward or union official. Please note that once you do this, you trigger a legal obligation for the bank to act and assist you, but it must be done as noted above. In closing and before giving our directives, please note that in the early stages of the first wave of COVID-19, Park Street branch was shut down because workers were exposed to the virus and the bank did not want to sanitize the branch. Not even a personal visit from your MD shook the resolve, and the branch was eventually shut down and sanitized. Then, workers made that happen. 1 day later, the same situation of exposure in San Juan, retail, occurred and the same advice was dispensed by the union. However, most workers accepted the risk, for reasons only known to them, and continued to work. A few persons who followed the advice were safely relocated to nearby branches without any resistance or hassle. Same risk, same bank, different workers, different outcome. Effective immediately, the following guidelines are presented to all members and are to be used while at work. Own. Social distancing. Keep 6 feet from a very own, fellow worker and/or customer. 2. Workstation distancing 6 feet minimum from any other occupied station or desk. 3. Use off-face masks or face shield for staff when not at workstation. 4. Mandatory proper use of proper face masks for all customers at all times. 5. Use off-hand sanitizer, washing off hands prior to entry by all who enter. 6. Mandatory testing of temperature for staff/customers upon entry off the premises. 7. Protective shield between all customers and staff. 8. Continuous supply of PPE by the bank for all workers. 9. CSR, tellers and any other worker who frequently interface with customers are to sanitize their hands after each such transaction and wash hands every hour. 10. Reduce number of customers in the banking halls, no crowds. 11. Sanitization or branch cleaning schedules that are responsive to visits of confirmed cases, primary or secondary contacts, normal and above normal customer flow. 12. Refusal of entry for those who refuse to comply or symptomatic persons. These are your union's guidelines based on the laws that govern us. the current pandemic that threatens us and best practice measures adopted by other financial institutions. Invoke your right to refuse to work where such safety measures are not in place. The life you save may be your own. In closing, here's what the CMO Dr. Roshan Parasram had to say on the topic of sick leave and quarantine.
And in related news, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Roshan Parasram says persons cannot be issued sick leave when in quarantine. He explains being in quarantine is different from being hospitalized as they are not sick.
You are on quarantine because of exposure to a disease. You do not have an illness at that point in time. So we cannot give you a sick leave certificate and we cannot give you a fitness for duty. What we do give from the CMOH office is a letter that says you are quarantined from a date going forward for a period of 14 days or 21 days, as may have been determined by the office of the CMOH.
He explains there is a provision, however, that they can make use of.
If you have no illness during that period, you have no signs and symptoms, you have not become positive, once your quarantine period ends, you issue the quarantine order, you can give it to your employer, and that should suffice in terms of coming out of your quarantine. If your period is extended, that will be done so by the CMOH, and your new date of quarantine ends based on what the CMOH has put on the form. So that form can be used to exit quarantine. There's no need for a negative test, there's no need for a sick leave, and there's no need for a fitness for duty.
Now you know. So, stand up and speak out. Join us next time for another episode of Did You Know? Like and follow us on Instagram. Keep the conversation going on our Facebook page. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future videos. This has been a message from the Education Committee of the BIGWU RBL branch. Thank you.